Hey, this is Jim of NJ Cigar and Whiskey. Today I am doing the K by Karen Berger in Connecticut. So again, this is the K by Karen Berger. It's part of the Don Kiki line of cigars. Karen Berger is the master blender. I was able to meet her at Lit. This is the 6 by 52 by 58. They call it a salamon, or it's also I tend to call it a perfecto. It's a box press. Maybe that's why they call it a salamon shape. So it's kind of interesting. And when I was talking with Karen Berger and her Benito Rodrigo, I think her partner, they said that this received a 94 rating by Cigar Aficionado, maybe a 96. And they said that this cigar, this Connecticut, would hold up with the Southern Draw Rose of Sharon. See, this has got a pretty smooth wrapper, pretty typical looking Connecticut. Visible but tight seams. Little bit, a few veins on the wrapper leaf. The wrapper is an Ecuadorian Connecticut. The binder and the filler, I'm going to just check it on my notes here on my phone. Ecuadorian Connecticut that was grown in Nicaragua, if I remember right, from what Karen was telling us. The binder is Nicaraguan and the filler is Nicaraguan. The tobacco in the cigar was all grown at Karen Berger's tobacco farm in Esteli, Nicaragua. So we're going to get into this, as you can see, because of the perfecto / salmon shape. It's going to take a little bit to actually get this going. But even with that off the light, pretty good draw. I get a vanilla and graham cracker and cream off the initial light. We'll be back to get further into the K by Karen Berger and talk a little bit more about the blender. Thank you. Right now we have this thing rolling. I went and looked up Karen Berger's website. That's at donkikicigars.com. You can pull up the Karen Berger Connecticut. They actually say that they got a 96 from a Cigar Aficionado for the Connecticut. Which, my initial flavors, again, the graham cracker, the nut now, it's sort of like a toffee nut. Like if you had, toffee cashews or candied cashews, that's what I'm getting, along with graham cracker. But then there's a little bit of a numbness on my tongue that comes from Ligero. And actually, when I first smoked this at Lit, and I met Karen Berger, I asked her point blank, I said, well, how much Ligero you put in there in the filler? And she kind of smiled. I said, yep, it's got a nod of Ligero in there. The smoke output is excellent, as you can see, very creamy. The only issue I'm having is with this Perfecto. You can see the burn is really off, and I have trouble with some Perfecto cigars. They tend to do that. This one in particular isn't doing well. It's probably going to require some touch-ups. However, when I smoked it at Lit Cigar Lounge, I didn't have these problems at all. So it could be just this particular cigar. We're half hour in. I wanted to stop and show you this because two things going on here. One, unfortunately, the burn is still way off. And I keep correcting it, and it keeps canoeing. It just might be something with this individual cigar. Because the last one I smoked didn't do this. not nearly this bad, but you know, you combine the idea of that perfecto tip with the box press to get that salamon shape, and I think that you're kind of asking for burn problems in individual cigars. I just do. But if you take that away and you take a look at the ash is hold on tremendously. And I don't think it's just due to canoeing. You know, the last one I smoked did the same thing in terms of the ash. So plus points and negative points with regard to construction. The flavor is shifting a little bit. And it's kind of interesting. Some draws you get this almost butter note. It's like I said, that buttered cashew, that toffee, cashew, graham cracker. And then in the next one, you'll get that ligero kind of hit. It's almost like a red pepper spice. Which makes it really an interesting smoke from a flavor standpoint. Don Kiki shop that you can go to. You can either order online from their store, or you can go to their shop at 1508 South Atlantic Avenue in Daytona Beach, Florida. So if you're ever in the Daytona Beach area, you can go check them out. I've had a couple of the Don Kiki cigars. They're pretty good. So definitely, and it's actually quite a large cigar shop, and they carry brands other than just Don Kiki and, you know, Karen Berger cigars. So I am on the other side of 50. Just so you guys know, and I want to say that one of the whiskeys that we're going to be reviewing, thanks to the Mangelos, is going to be the Irishman 17-year-old single malt, which is something I've never had, and we'll be glad to, you know, crack that bottle. So thank you, Uncle Dennis, for picking that up. And doesn't feel any different, you know. Hey man, I might be on the other side of 50, but can still bench press 100-pound dumbbells in each hand. I can still hit the heavy bag for 40 minutes, do the double end bag for another 40 minutes. So life is good. 50's not the end of the world, but had the greatest party ever. And everybody who came and everybody who was a part of it, I want to say thank you. To anybody who might have been missed, it was a surprise party, so I wasn't able to invite everybody I wanted to invite. So anybody who was missed, we're sorry we missed you, but we can't wait to have you over now that COVID is finished. And a special thank you to Nikki and our kids for making such a wonderful day, because it was absolutely a wonderful day. I would have done this filming on Sunday, except I needed to dry out from such a great time on Saturday. So we're going to get back. We'll come back after we hit the band on this thing. Okay, we are 45 minutes in here on the outdoor living room at NJ Cigar and Whiskey, and you can see the ash is holding on great, but again, you still have this burn. It's starting to get better. It's just this stick. I gotta be honest. I've smoked 3 Connecticut's. This is my 3rd. I smoked 2 Habanos by Karen Berger, same shape, the 6 by 52 to 58 Solomon shape, and I didn't really have this bad of a problem with any of them. So, and again, the construction on this one's pretty good in terms of you can see it in the ash. So to be honest, I would overlook that. I really would. So yeah, you can just see. I just had to ash it. I'm going to take off the band here. Now, and again, this one did this is just the same as the others. The bands come off really well, which to me is really important. You always hate it when you have a cigar that you're smoking and you're enjoying, and you take off the band and it rips off the wrapper, and then all of a sudden, you know, you've got a cigar that's unraveling. Doesn't happen here. At this point, what am I getting at the band points? It's about 2/3 of the way in. I'm getting a butter. That buttery note again. This is not a high strength cigar. Like, this is not something I feel like I need to go get something to eat. I'm fine just sitting here drinking my coffee and cream. I would say it is definitely it's a flavor bomb. But not a super strength. It's not a high strength cigar. And other than the burn issues, which you can see right there, there's nothing I can say to complain about it. And of course, what's the comparison that was made? The comparison was made between this and the Rose of Sharon by Southern Draw, which, you know, some cigar, I forget the particular, but some cigar rating, wasn't Cigar Aficionado, it might have been cigars.com, they rated it 100. And did they deserve the 100? You know, it depends on who you are. But Rose of Sharon by Southern Draw is considered among the best Connecticut's that you can buy. How does this one stack up? Well, let me cut to the chase. It absolutely stacks up, okay? I've had the Southern Draw. I've had about 4 or 5 of the Southern Draw Rose of Sharons. They're great cigars. They are not your classic Connecticut. They are not going to be, you know, that nut, woods, coffee, cream. No, that you're going to go through flavor transitions. That's not the type of Connecticut you give to your friend who's never smoked a cigar before. This one isn't either. They might like it, but this is definitely a very complex cigar with a lot of transitions. And a lot of different flavor notes. If they smoke this one and they like it, and then they try a classic or a generic Connecticut, like I'm thinking like the Romeo and Julieta Classic or the Monte Cristo Classic, they're going to be bored. They're going to be bored with the classic Connecticut. So it's probably not something I'd start somebody off on. In terms of price, this you get anywhere between $11 and $13 a stick. I believe the Salamon at Lit Cigar Lounge was $13. Would I buy it again? Yes, not only would I buy it again, I have bought it again. You can go to their website, and I'll list the web address below. You can go to their website and you can pick them up. You can pick up a box of 10 Salomons for $99. Would I do that? Absolutely. For $9 a stick, would I want to keep smoking these? Absolutely. And would I hold these up against not only any Connecticut, but any cigar in my humidor? I would. And I think I want to keep these in my humidor. And what kind of whiskey would I pair with this? I think a nice Scotch, like, you know, and I think a good solid Irish pot still would hold up to it, especially with that pepper on the black end. I'm thinking Redbreast, or even a Writer's Tears, which is a blend of pot still and Irish single malt. That spice on the back end is going to hold up and pair nicely with the spice on the back end of this cigar. As a matter of fact, the more I think about it, the more I think a lot of your Irish whiskeys, those butter notes are going to really kind of agree with the butter notes that you get in this cigar. Also a good Scotch. I think a bourbon is going to be too sweet. It's going to overpower the cigar. You're going to lose a lot of the flavor. And a smoky Scotch is going to absolutely overpower the cigar, and you're going to lose a lot of the flavor and the flavor nuances that exist in it. So if I was pairing this, I would either pair it with a Highland Scotch. I'm talking Glenmorangie, Glenlivet, Macallan, or I would pair it with an Irish single malt or single pot still. I'm thinking the Pogue Castle, Redbreast, Green Spot, or Yellow Spot. So we got a lot of exciting things coming up. We have our bourbon, our aged larceny, where we age it in our barrel. We're going to be pulling that out. We're also going to be talking about the Irishman, the 17-year-old. I also, as a 50th birthday gift, because that only comes once, halfway to 100, we found, and for those of you who are into Irish whiskey, you'll know that this is exciting. We found Middleton Very Rare Barry Crockett Edition. That's a single pot still whiskey. It's been aged in up to 21 years in hand-selected barrels, and it's the only whiskey other than Jameson in the Middleton line that's been named for a distiller. So it's pretty special. We'll be cracking that for a review, and then we'll be tucking it right back in its case and putting it right back for a special occasion. And a couple other special surprises. We also will probably, Nick and I have been talking about cracking that barrel again and trying the Woodford Reserve and trying to create our own double oaked. We tried it before. I think we had a slight leak in the barrel. We lost an entire 5 gallons of Woodford Reserve. That was a sad day when we found that out, but we're going to be trying it again. So some exciting things happening. This was the K by Karen Berger in Connecticut. Would I recommend it? Again, absolutely. Again, here there'll be a link to her website below.